My dear students, my dear learners, thank you everybody from the core of my heart. Today my lesson is that how we can change the passage narration, and this section is about changing passage narration exceptional rules part 13, and this is the end of the discussions on narration today. And in this sections I am going to tell you very briefly about some specific rules on how we can change the passage narration. First of all, you have to remember that when you see some word like hello before any proper noun, just try to understand. According to this rule, we just greet some person, and when we mean to greet some person, we use hello before that person. So hello Peter, that means I like to greet Peter. And in this case, the changed, that means the indirect speech will be written after the subject. We have to use the verb greet. And you see that Hassan said, hello Peter, how are you? And indirect speech is that Hassan greeted. That means why should I use greet here? Because I want to greet Peter. So I am using greet in the past tense. Hassan greeted Peter. And this word hello is omitted from this indirect speech. In the indirect speech, we just use greet instead of hello. And after greet, the proper noun will be set. So you see this proper noun Peter after hello, and instead of I have used greet, and after greet I have written Peter. And I have to add the conjunction and then I have to take a look at the sentence in the inverted comma. So the sentence in the inverted comma, how are you? This is a questions, and so I used the reporting verb asked. And there is a very important rule used that when we are changing the direct speech into the indirect one, we have to remember that we have to use the pronoun very specifically, the pronoun very vividly, so my reader or my examiner can understand it well. So asked him, this means this him refers to Peter. So you can set P in the bracket, first bracket, him in the first bracket P, and how he was. This is the change. So thank you, dear students. And now I am going to tell you another important rule that is in the direct space there may be a expression, an expression very briefly, very in concise manner. Suppose the direct speech may be focused or expressed by a single word also, but in case of indirect speech you have to elaborate it. So dear viewers, direct speech, he said he said how are you, how are you? He said, how are you? Meena said, fine. Meena said, fine. So, dear viewers, dear students, you see that in this sentence, there is a single word fine enclosed by the inverted comma. And through this word, there is an expression about the answer of the questions. So, this fine, this word fine means that he or she is fine, but in the indirect case that must be elaborated. Suppose in the case you say he asked he asked how he was, how she was, she was, because the speaker is he and the listener is Mina. That means instead of Mina you have to use she. So dear viewers, he asked how she was. How she was. Mina Mina replied that Mina replied that that she, in the bracket I can write M, she, Mina, she. So she has been used instead of Mina. She was fine. She was fine. So how can you elaborate the single word into the sentence? In this case, you have to remember that you have to use a verb. You have to use a verb relevant to the questions, relevant to the speech of the direct speech of the speaker. So what the speaker is telling, you have to just take a look at, and you have to understand what the specific verb may be in elaborating the single word into the intricate space. So that must be relevant. So you see that he asked how she was, and this was has been used here. This is a be verb, and you can understand that you can use be verb. So Mina replied that she was fine. So thank you, dear viewers. And there is an opposite rule of this, that is, you just write the indirect speech in brief. You have to delete the irregular or irrelevant words from the direct speech, and you have to make the indirect speech concise or brief by deleting the irrelevant or irregular words. Thank you, dear viewers. Please take a look at direct speech. He said, I am a good boy. I am a good cricketer. Cricketer too. So, dear students, you can see there are some exaggerations in this direct speech. I am a good boy. I am a good cricketer too. So this is exaggeration. This is somewhat, in this case, the writer has used some irrelevant or some extra words. So the specific sentence should be, he said, I am a good boy and a cricketer. I am a good boy and a cricketer. That would be the best skillful sentence. But this is not the skillful sentence, you see. And in this case, you have to write in direct speech. In direct speech, you see, he said that he was a good boy and a cricketer cricketer too. So omitted I have omitted I am a good. So the subject I, verb to be am, article a, and the same adjective good has been omitted from the direct speech, and the indirect speech has been made into concise. So this is the rule. If the exaggeration is found in the direct speech, that exaggeration must be decreased in the indirect speech, and that will be skillful and very concise sentence. That short sentence will look good and very skillful. Thank you, dear viewers, my dear students. You just try to understand, and you will be able to learn how to change the narration very skillfully. Please watch my videos on narrations. There are more than 20 videos on narration changing. You will find on my Facebook page, MA Moments Aspiring Dreams for Teaching English, or Moment Digital English Home, and the YouTube channels in the same names. So dear viewers, please try to remember that learning is a continuous process, and in this continuous process you have to go one by one. You can learn haphazardly, you can learn things, but you can learn them well. So you have to learn them well, and if you want to learn them well, please watch my video gradually, and I think you will be successful. Thanking you from the core of my heart and wishing you best of luck. Thank you everybody.